Hey everybody, another video coming at you on the Private Express Trust video series. This one is going to be on banking, how to get a bank account opened, how to use the bank account. What are the pitfalls of getting a bank account opened when trying to open one for a trust? Okay, here's a high level look at what you'll need. These are the steps. You got to have a completed trust. You got to get an EIN number, which I'm about to show you. You'll have to have an appointed successor trustee. I recommend interviewing 3 banks to open an account at, because they can be challenging and trip you up and waste a lot of your time. You're going to make sure you execute a bill of sale, which showed you how to do previously, to get currency into the trust. Okay. And then you got to pick in a bank, right? Try to open one at all 3. And then once you have a bank account, you got to make sure you're using lawful money, depositing lawful money. Okay, again, creating the trust, you got to get it completed. The banking documents we're talking about here that are going to be needed are provided in a drafted trust package from Aguagiero. So if you hire us, we'll provide these documents, but you're still going to have to go out and find the banks and open the bank account. An EIN number. You're going to have an EIN number. An EIN number is very similar to a social security number. It's a 9-digit number recognizing an entity. Okay, and it's kind of how they trick you to not realize your person is an entity, is that, your social security number is for your person. And since they're trying to convince you to be the person, you think that social security number is for you. It's not. It's for your person. And your EIN number is going to be for your trust. And if you ever decide to open a LLC or some kind of business that's owned by the trust, that entity will have to have a separate EIN number as well. So we're going to get into the application to get an EIN, real easy. But a quick note on the IRS. Okay, I know we're trying to avoid the IRS. We don't want to pay them any more taxes, but we got to remember that being a trustee is about being honorable, doing the right thing. So if you don't want to pay the IRS anymore, you got to tell them. You got to explain it to them. You got to declare it. Running around and hiding, getting around things is not recommended, because it's really going to just ensnare you into some kind of problem down the road. But an EIN number is 9 digits. Your social security number is 9 digits. They're just numbers for their system. In fact, it shows that your person is an entity, that it's not you, because it has a number. Your social security number is for your person. Again, just their number. And using it is not a contract. Okay, so when you go, Google SS4 EIN online application, you'll find something. Make sure you're going to the irs.gov website. There's a couple of actors out there that take all this information and at the last second charge you $100 to get it, when you can just go straight to the IRS. So this is what it looked like. Different types of entities here. We're going to go with trusts. You got 2 options here. You can just do the irrevocable trust or other trust. I can't think of any requirements that they might have for one or the other. They're both going to ask you to file, which we'll talk to on here. Again, this is just an example. You're going to see this screen after you see that last one. It's always going to tell you a trust is required to file Form 1041. That's what they say. Okay, we're not in their rules. They don't tell us what to do. We just interact with them to exchange in services they really actually owe us. So the idea that they say you have to do this, you don't. Communication with them is always better. But just because you get this EIN number does not ensnare you to have to pay taxes. Okay, it's only when you promise to pay taxes in the form of filing a return can they get you. Okay, you'll have to fill out who the responsible party is, and this can be the grantor or the trustee. It doesn't matter. Again, it's not a contract. A trust is being set up in their eyes. They can only see a person doing it, so they're going to ask for this SSN number. Again, using that SSN number just to get this is not a contract. They're not going to attach your personal account to your trust account and then come after your trust account whenever the person owes money. Okay, they're separate entities with separate numbers. Okay, and you know, being a trustee does not make you liable to the trust. So, don't sweat putting in your SSN number. I did it several years ago. Nothing's ever come up from doing this. You're gonna have to put in a mailing address. You can choose your own mailing address however you want it. But you should know the difference between a mailing address and a landed address. Okay, a mailing address can be a P.O. box. A landed address is actually a dirt address. Okay, a place where a home or a house is located. You can be both if you want. You could have the landed address at one place, a completely separate mailing address if you want. Okay, the details are going to get the name of the trust, where the trust is located, and what state is in. And that stuff is all available in the Constitution. The date trust is funded would be the date that the trust received any assets, which is should be when the trust was signed. So that's the date I would use. After that part, you're going to get this thing every single time. They always ask you if you expect to have employees. Trusts never have employees. Never have employees. You can contract with an agent and have an agency agreement and have that individual to perform like an employee, do things that an employee would, but under an agency contract. Employment is pure fiat. It's pure shenanigans. Okay. All right. When you're done when you filled all that stuff in, you're going to get this screen right here. You're either going to want a PDF confirmation letter ASAP right now, or you can have it mailed to you. So when you get that PDF, make sure you can print it, make sure you can save it somewhere, but then you got it, and that's it. If you can print it, that's the piece of paper the bank's going to want to see. So once you get it, you got it. A few things. Again, remember, using an SSN number or an EIN number is not a contract, okay? Are they following you, like identifying you? Yeah, sure, that's what they do. But, it's not a contract, and if they've ever suggest that you have to do something because of the EIN number or whatever, you got to know how to stand up and protest that. Now, there is a thing called the 98 EIN number, and Aguas does not provide one. Other sites do. Other groups providing trust will do that for you. And the reason I don't is because I know what it is and what it isn't. All right. In order to get this EIN number over the phone, and I provided the number right there, you just got to call them and give you the information, and they'll give you a number over the phone that you can go out and use. However, they're going to require an address outside of the continental United States. I tried getting one with a Colorado address, tried to explain that the land of Colorado is not inside the United States. It is actually foreign to the United States because Colorado and the land is not in commerce, and the United States is a corporation. So they wouldn't take it. I sent off a letter to try and get one explaining it, giving them the information they need. That was a couple months ago. I don't know if I will get one. May not. But, again, you need the EIN number to open a bank account, period. The 98 EIN number, if you do a few other tasks, you'll get a letter from the IRS saying you don't have to pay taxes. So I've heard. It's up to you. I don't have a 98 EIN number. I've been using my trust for 2 years solely. Never had a problem. In addition to the EIN number, you're going to need a successor trustee. Okay, this is going to have to be a living soul, another individual, to accept the nomination or the appointment as a successor trustee. They'll have to sign a document, a notarized document accepting the nomination. They may need to sign the affidavit as well, which is provided as a template in the package. But that's it. And then once they've signed their stuff, they don't have any obligations until something happens. And when something does happen, specifically the trustee passes away, you pass away, then the successor trustee automatically steps in. They sign their oath of office, and now they're the full-fledged trustee. And if you can see it, You can use the successor trustee as the true beneficiary. Okay, instead of a trustee passing away and then the trust collapsing and all the assets moving over to the beneficiary, a bunch of processes that may trigger the state to want to get involved. When the trustee passes and then automatically a new trustee steps in, nobody's the wiser. Okay, it's still the trust. There's just a new CEO of the trust. Okay, now they have all the power and authority to do what they can or what they want as a trustee. Uh, so again, that can be complicated. Don't overthink it early on. If you can get somebody that'll agree to be your successor trustee, do it. Get the bank account open, and then down the road you can make this thing a little bit more specialized to your needs and your family and how you want things. But a successor trustee will be needed at every single bank. Yeah, so this is just showing again, you'll avoid probate if all your stuff is in the trust and you have a successor trustee. Probate won't even be necessary. I mean, maybe for your person, but since there won't be any assets to divide for your person, there's nothing to do. This can save you thousands and thousands of dollars just on this thing, avoiding probate. Okay, now we got to go find a bank. All right, there's lots of kinds of banks. There's credit unions, there's state banks, and there's national banks. What's the difference? Not a whole hell of a lot. I do know that a credit union will require you to be a member of that credit union, and in that process, they may ask for you to do a credit check. They can do whatever they want to for membership, but you really got to see that the banks are the enemy. All right, the entire nation is controlled by the banking cartel. All right, they are so deceptive, it's disgusting. And I know, yes, you go in there, they are friendly, they are kind, they got smiles, they're dressed nice, they got fancy, comfortable offices, yada yada yada. They're trying to be as pleasant to you as they possibly can. But you'll see, if you choose to use one of these banks, that on the back end, they can be just freaking shitheads. Excuse my language. So just expect in the process that it to kind of maybe not go smoothly, is all I'm really saying. It may go smoothly, but more than likely they're going to give you a hard time. All banks will open a trust account. Some know how to do it better than others. It used to be the most popular thing to do. That was what a bank and trust is. When you find a place that's a bank and trust, that means they want to or have the capacity to be the trustee for an account for a trust, which may be something you want to do down the road once you see why. But in this case, for this trust, you do not want the bank to be on the trustee side. They are just holding an account for you, and that's it. And our affidavit template provides the detailed information they want. But again, go ask them. Hey, what do you want? What do you need to open a trust account? Maybe they have a list. Take notes, but I am almost certain it's all going to be the same. But then you'll see once you start giving them stuff to open the account, a lot of them will then start asking for more stuff. And that's why it's important to interview them first. And be like, you're asking for this. You didn't tell me you needed this before. Why are you asking me for this? And the biggest thing is that they're going to ask for your whole trust constitution. And you can give it to them if you want. I wouldn't recommend it. And it's a good opportunity for you to learn to kind of stand up to these institutions and tell them no in a polite, nice way. Okay, so a few more things. Credit unions, again, will require you to be a member. They may ask you to do a credit check to become a member. There's nothing illegal about that. You can agree to it or not. A lot of these banks have no idea what they're doing as far as trust accounts go. You walk into some of these small credit unions, they got 2 or 3 people that are much more customer service agents than anything to deal with banks. So, and they can eventually just say, we don't know what we're doing. And instead of telling you no, they're just going to make your life harder until you go away. So, if you can see it, you can pick up on it, maybe go away a little sooner, go someplace else. And if at all possible, and it may not, it may be the only place you can open an account because you've already established a relationship there. But try to open an account someplace else other than when your personal accounts are open. And the only reason is it's going to be very easy to ensnare or sort of commingle funds to where you might accidentally deposit money into your trust account without a bill of sale, without paperwork, and that could be considered a granting process, and you may pierce your trust. Okay, now once you've picked it out and you're ready to open an account, you got to make sure whatever money you deposit in that currency, the Federal Reserve note currency, has been brought into the trust already. Okay, so we're going to execute a bill of sale, and it's going to be basically silver for currency. Any amount. I wouldn't specify an amount. Say various amounts of currency, various accounts of U.S. currency, a lot of currency, just to have the pay. Anyway, okay, open a trust account. You should have the knowledge of what they want and what you're providing. Try to be as vanilla as possible. Don't go start talking about lawful money or any extra details, because they will just take something and they'll exploit it. So give them as just the stuff they ask for, and open the account. They may ask what the trust is for. Just tell them whatever you want. Private wealth management, asset protection, anything. I try to open the account in all three banks, knowing that one or two of them are going to give me a hard time, and that way I can ditch them and go with the one that's going to open the account. And again, you can open an account and close it next month if you want. Okay, it's not going to hurt you. And definitely make sure whatever account you open, that the account you have is non-interest bearing. You do not want to create interest on the deposit of this money. Now, why? That's a fiat thing. Lawful money does not grow interest on itself. All right, fake money does that. So if you have any money in this account and it's accumulating interest just by being there, then it's a fiat thing, and you do not want that. Now, banks are going to be like, why would you want any interest? But you say 0% interest. Okay, and if you have just a savings account, well, you have just a checking account. Hope a big bank, you can get just a checking account, and that's it. And those checking accounts shouldn't have any interest bearing anyway. Yeah, and the thing is once when you ask them what they need, they're going to be friendly. But once you start giving it to them, they're going to be like, oh, we're going to gotta talk to our manager, all this stuff. And now we need more info. We need some more stuff. Well, you didn't tell me that stuff up front. And that is your first sign that they're really just trying to not give you an account. So again, 3 banks is wise. Yeah, the most popular thing is they want to see the entire Constitution. They should only see the front page and the last page, if at all. And the last page is just showing that you signed it. It's just evidence that it was created. It's a thing. It exists. That's all they should really need to know. Lawful money. Okay, this could be a whole other video on itself. In fact, I think I've done other videos. Okay, your trust is outside of commerce, so you got to use non-commercial money, and that's lawful money. It's constitutional money. It's gold, it's silver, and a few other things that they've established as lawful money. Okay, it's the opposite of fiat money. All right, so in 1933 is when they created the Federal Reserve Note, and they created it with the Federal Reserve Act, and the whole purpose was to create an elastic money supply, because they were saying that the gold-backed money had a limitation on commerce, because it could not have enough money in circulation because gold was a finite resource. Well, fiat, through our notes, they can create as much fiat as they want, and that's what they do. However, they have to have a exemption. Okay, you cannot get rid of lawful money. You cannot get rid of the use of constitutional money. You can just create something else that everybody falls in love with. So, per 12 U.S.C. 411, and we'll just go straight to it, any Federal Reserve note can be redeemed in lawful money upon demand at any bank. Here it is. And this is how they write these codes. It's super tricky, but what I've highlighted in red is all you need to know and see. Everything else is kind of trickery. Federal Reserve notes. And it says they here, they're talking about the Federal Reserve notes. They shall be redeemed in lawful money on demand, which is what you're doing. And it says the Treasury Department of the United States in Washington, in the District of Columbia, or at any Federal Reserve Bank. And they're all Federal Reserve banks because they all use Federal Reserve notes. That easy. Okay, the Federal Reserve note, kind of a chameleon. All right, why can you do this? Why can you redeem it for lawful money? I've never ever heard of this before. Well, no, you haven't. Well, the Federal Reserve notes has two seals. Okay, and now a seal is used to identify property or where something came from. Back in the day, if you were buying goods from England or Spain or whatever, and they got delivered, those goods might have a seal on them saying that these are Spanish goods. Money does the same thing. You see there's a black seal and a green seal. The black seal is the dead seal, the Federal Reserve Note seal, saying it can be Federal Reserve notes. The green seal is the lawful money seal. It says United States Treasury, 1789, lawful money, constitutional. That's what we're trying to use. Okay? And this is why you can redeem it for lawful money. Here is a pre-1933 dollar, and you will see there is only one seal. And if you look clearly, you can see that it is the same seal as the green one on the new money. But that Federal Reserve note seal isn't there anymore. Okay? This old money wasn't fiat. New money is fiat and lawful money. So, what's the deal with this lawful money? Why is it like this? Why is there the Federal Reserve notes? Well, the IRS was created around the same time fiat money was created, around the same time the Federal Reserve was created, within 15 years of each other. You cannot tax a man's labor. My time, you cannot tax. You can trick me into it, but it's not a taxable thing. So your idea of your taxable income is really just your use of Federal Reserve notes. Let me say that again. Your taxable income is your calculated use of their fake private money. Okay? When they use a fiat money, all right, if fiat money is introduced into a society and no more money is added, no more money is added, over time, all of that money will go back to the Federal Reserve in the form of the interest. So, your income tax is the use of fiat money tax. Okay, that's how they did it. They tricked us all into it. So when you think you're paying for your income and the stuff you've done as some kind of tax, it's for using their fake money. So if you stop using their fake money, they have no mechanism to come after you. All right, so when you use lawful money for everything and you live inside this trust and you pay for everything and all the money comes in, you deposit it for lawful money, there is not a legal mechanism for them to sue you or to tax you or to come after you. And in fact, if you ever get sued by the IRS or harassed, a photocopy of 3 checks deposited and redeemed for lawful money will tell them that they are barking up the wrong tree. Now, this is the last slide. Fiat money, lawful money, all this stuff is super confusing. It can be very difficult. Do not let this keep you from creating a trust, okay? I've told you the important things to remember, but over time you'll start to see it, okay? And all you got to do is every time you deposit it, you got to put on a note. Lawful money, 12 U.S.C. 411. The full gamut, redeemed for lawful money per 12 U.S.C. 411. It's just a note. So your Venmo, your wire exchanges, you can always put a note. So if you're putting money into the trust, make sure you take advantage of that this is a redemption of fiat money. So, all right, that was banking. That was all of it. If you need anything else, please visit our Zooms or reach out for some counseling or coaching, on Sunday nights, 6:30 Mountain Time at aguagiero.net. We do Zooms. We talk about all of this and more. So, thanks again. Have a great day.